All right. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. This is an interview for the Altoism project, and I'm really excited to be here with you all today. So I thought we would just start with a brief introduction. If each of you could just introduce yourself and where you teach, a little bit about you for our audience, that would be great. We'll start with Greg.
Hi, my name is Greg Ward. I play alto saxophone, and I'm a assistant professor of music out at Indiana University, the Jacobs School of Music.
Great. And anyone who wants to jump in next, go right ahead.
Well, hi, I'm Sherelle Cassidy. I'm a saxophonist, woodwindist, and I teach at DePaul University and Columbia College Chicago in Chicago, and also at Elgin Community College in Elgin, Illinois.
Great. And Rajiv?
Hello, I'm Rajiv Halim. I play saxophone and other woodwinds, and I teach private lessons at Hinsdale Central High School and Oak Park River Forest High School.
All right, great. So the first question I wanted to ask about this project is, how did this recording happen? And along with that, what inspired you to do this project together?
Well, Rajiv was over at the Jazz Place, our performance space during the quarantine. Richard Johnson was doing a concert for Jen, and Rajiv was the saxophonist on the project. And Richard had me come in on the song Last Minute as the final, finale of the show. And he had me sit in, and Rajiv and I had such a great time playing together. It was so much fun that we said, oh, we have to do this again. We have to get together and play again. We should do a project. And then Richard said, how about an alto summit with a third alto? And we looked at each other and just said, Greg Ward, like Greg would be the perfect addition. And that's how it came about.
That's great. And how did you find the experience working together?
Does anyone else want to chime in?
Rajiv, you want?
You got it, Greg.
Okay. It was a wonderful time, especially being, sort of in winter in Chicago during a pandemic when I imagine most of our gigs that were happening had slowed down. We had sort of this bright light to look forward to. And so we all got to compose a couple pieces of music and bring them to the table and workshop the music on the spot and make a fun recording. And it was really cool. Everybody was just down, down to work the situation out, to try to create some sense of rapport in the moment. And to do that, it takes a lot of flexibility and openness. And the group, it really came together, I thought.
Awesome. So what was the thing that surprised you most about working together?
Wow. I'm not sure that anything really surprised me. I mean, the caliber of players that are on this recording, would expectedly result in the product that we put out. But I guess the thing that surprised me is that we were able to do everything in the one day that we did it. That's probably the thing that surprised me the most. But
Yeah. Did you expect the recording to be such a success and to have the response that it's getting around the world?
I wasn't sure. I didn't know. I wouldn't say surprised me. What struck me was how different each one of our voices were. And it was really fun just listening from track to track to each other and how different everybody's voice and take on the song was.
Mm-hmm. So could we talk a little bit about what the educational value of playing together as a saxophone horn section? What did you see that?
Educational value. I'll say a couple things about this. I feel like this is something that's pretty specific for saxophonists or, like people who are or maybe playing in a section or in a group with anybody in any sort of ensemble, um, learning how to get inside of the moment of whatever music that you happen to be playing. And just to chime back to, like, Rajiv and Sherelle's comments about everybody bringing different things to the table and having a different voice, but inside of those tunes we all have to come together to find that sound for that moment. So if somebody listens to the record or sees the performance live, you see that people, sort of maybe sacrificing their, their thing for whatever the moment calls for. And that's what we do all the time as musicians, right? We're always getting into the moment, right? To make, I don't know, to make the best possible musical experience for our audience.
Mhm.
So that's the lesson for the
If
That's
I,
younger
the
people.
lesson.
Yeah.
and if I could
Yeah,
add a little bit, each member of this group is a great section player, a great team player. So we all know how to listen, how to blend, how to match each other's timbres when it's time to play together.
Mhm.
yeah, I think that was definitely a prevailing comment that I got from audience people as well on the weekend that we performed at the Jazz Showcase a few weeks ago. Is just how well we're able to blend together, and you know the fact that the three of us have very different approaches to the sound of the alto saxophone, but still do that
Mhm.
is a testament to any students. Like, you have to be able to listen to each other regardless of your approach. You have to be able to work together in a section, whether it's in a big band or in a alto summit type of situation like this, or in general.
Mhm. So obviously we're in the middle of a pandemic. Things have changed drastically for all of us, and I can imagine, especially for musicians. What was it like coming together for the first time after when things started opening up again through the pandemic? What were some things that were different for you, or um, things that impacted the recording?
That's an interesting question. I think it's, I don't know if the order is quite right with that question. Like, you know what I mean? Just saying, like, are you specifically asking about when we got together post the recording? How did that feel? Are you saying that? Are you saying, like, during when we got together for the recording? Because we kind of addressed
I
that
think
then.
both, in the beginning when you got together for the recording, because that was, when was it when you first got together for the recording?
It was in
January.
January.
I was going to say, yeah, it was early in the year. So, what was, if you could go back to that time, kind of what was that experience like for you, and thinking about getting back together again? I know you had probably a day to record, and what was the mindset when you were getting together back at that time?
I think mostly I can speak for myself, but mostly it was let's get this done. Let's be as careful as possible, but get this done.
Mhm. Yeah.
I think we all wanted to do it, and there was an energy in the air that this was important. This was something we had worked towards and we wanted to do. So,
Hmm.
with masks and all the precautions necessary, we still managed just to get it on the tape.
Yeah. And how is the experience now being out? It seems that most of you have been out, if not all of you have been out performing, and things are rapidly changing all the time with the pandemic and whatnot. So how has the experience been for you now? And again, it's changing constantly. So how do you adapt to that as musicians and also as humans?
Well, I know at the CD release, it was exuberant. We had a lot of fun. There was a lot of excitement in the air from not just us, but the audience. Everyone was excited to be out, and again, we're still taking precautions.
Right.
Um, but there was a lot of excitement about it. Uh,
Great. And where do you see the future of working together or this project? What would you like to see happen?
Let's keep going.
Yeah, let's.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be great
Yeah.
to do some more gigs, go on
Yeah.
tour. You know.
Do some more performances together, maybe put out some more recordings in the future. Do some
Live album coming out, right?
say it again. Yeah, that's right. The live recording that we made, and maybe being in some sort of educational situations as well together would be awesome. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
So when you mention some educational situations, would that be clinics, or how would you envision that if you were interested in doing that?
Well, that would be like a superhero clinic for the saxophone players, especially.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know everybody on this panel is a great educator.
Mm-hmm. So being great educators, what do you think you learned most about yourselves during this process, and even through the entire process of the pandemic as musicians? What have you learned most about yourselves?
Any, I could speak on. Anyone want to speak on that?
You got it, Shara.
You got it.
I've learned who I am in a room by myself. Without any bands I've played with, without any accolades, without everything else that was noise, actually. And what I want to get to musically on my own as an artist. I really spent time discovering that.
I think via this process, or this project rather, and process, I've known Greg and Sherelle from the time I was really young. So I'm the youngest of the trio of us. So to be able to perform alongside them has definitely been a learning experience for me. Just learning where I could go, with different ideas and stuff like that. Seeing different perspectives on the alto sax that you don't normally get to see, because there aren't projects like this happening all the time, where there's 3 alto sax project with improvisation throughout.
And Greg, how about you?
I'd agree with Sherelle. A moment like this will sort of reinforce some things to you, and help you sort of cut away or trim the fat, get to the source of who you are and what you want to do. And yeah, so it can be a blessing in the midst of a storm, just an opportunity to sit still, which is something that we don't get to do very often, and think about who you are, what you've done, how you're progressing, how you'd like to progress, what you'd like to accomplish, what you'd like to do, what you don't want to do. And I feel like those times are important, and I look forward to them when they come, but I just hope that they don't come with a pandemic in the future.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Good.
And is there anything that you would like to tell either your students or any students that might be watching this? Any wisdom that you'd like to share with them about the process, or the recording, or anything like that?
I think the
The
process.
process.
Yeah, go ahead, Greg, if you want.
No. I was just going to ask. You go ahead. I'll listen to you.
I think the process was fairly simple in that we're all composers and we brought our compositions to the table, and the rhythm section is, a top-notch rhythm section. So they read our tunes and played them exactly as we'd heard them. So the process was fairly easy. The educational component, I would say, is that when you're in a situation with this similar instruments as yours, maybe a saxophone battle or a summit or whatever it might be, that you have to be really grounded in who you are and your sound. You have to be really grounded in your approach and the language that you're coming out of. And that's the only way it's going to be interesting to everybody. I think a lot of times I hear young people trying to sound like other people. And there's a certain period in your development where you have to sound like other people to an extent. But when you get into a situation, it really tests you and shows you where you're at as far as your voice. And you have to be strong in that.
Mhm. Anyone else want to add to that?
Pretty good.
She said it, right?
That's right.
All right, great. Well, thank you very much for joining me today, and best of luck on the continued success of this project and hopefully future other projects.
All right. Thank you very
All
much.
right, thank you.